Hey, welcome to today's episode. I am Chewning, your host, and today I had the pleasure and the honor of interviewing Autumn Smith. Autumn is the co-founder of Paleovalley, one of my favorite new wellness supplement products. They make these guys. These are their incredible grass-fed beef sticks that I cannot get enough of. If I'm not eating them, my dog is stealing them from me. But Autumn's wellness journey is one that a lot of us can relate to. We think we're doing all the right things, but we're struggling in how we feel, how we look, our energy levels, bloating, digestion, skin problems. We think we're doing all the right things, but we're not doing the one thing that we need to be doing more of. And that is really paying attention to what our body is telling us, tuning into our intuition, tuning into our biofeedback so that we can optimize even just one thing to get better today. Autumn Smith and her incredible company, Paleovalley, they are proud partners here at the show. They can give you 15% off. All you need to do is head to paleovalley.com/everforward to save 15% off of my favorite protein-packed snack, 100% grass-fed beef sticks. I use pretty much all their other supplements as well. Non-GMO, paleo-friendly, just incredible, trusted whole food source products that are fueling me. They're keeping me going. They're keeping my brain fueled, my body fueled, keeping me full. And you're going to really enjoy having them in your pantry as well. paleovalley.com/everforward. Welcome to the show. This is Autumn Smith.
3, 2, 1.
Autumn Smith, good morning. Was it morning for you still? Morning
for me still.
Okay.
Yeah. 10 a.m.
There we go. Not that far ahead of us. How's the future, by the way? How's an hour ahead in the future?
Things are looking crazy. No, just kidding. They're not as bad, but 2020. What'd you say?
Is the pandemic over yet in the future?
Oh man, not yet, but hopefully soon. It's easing up. It's getting calmer, I think.
You were telling me before we hit record that this is like just the new way, I guess some of us are, family life is in 2020. You have a kindergarten pod in your home. Please explain that. I mean, I'm sure there's someone listening who can relate and they need some sympathy right now.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So we have a kindergarten pod. We have 3 kindergartners and 2 first graders. And that happened because our school got canceled over here. And the schooling is such that we have like 3, 45-minute meetings throughout the day. And then we have to facilitate the homework and the assignments in the interim. And so it was looking like a 6-hour day, even for just kindergartners. And I'm running 2 companies and I knew that I would need support around that. And we also just moved to a new neighborhood. And these neighbors, some of our neighbors have 4 other children and, just various things going on. And so I wanted to figure out a way to like help our community and also help my little one thrive and still have that social interaction and have like a school experience, even though he couldn't go to school. And so, yeah, they're hanging out. They take over our house during the day and I just kind of keep to myself in my office, but it's actually beautiful. It was stressful the first few days, but once we got a system down, those kids, they learn and they're cleaning up for themselves and they're being quiet and it's, I'm actually loving it. So
it gets me thinking. I love watching movies and, I enjoy history. I mean, when you think back to kind of periods, period pieces of, colonial times, of ancient civilization, it kind of seems like that's how, in a way, as modern of a society we are now, we're kind of pivoting back to that a little bit of whether it's by choice or by government mandate or whatever, the ability to kind of just send the kids off, the ability for us to go out to work is kind of coming back full circle to these needing really to build a new small tribe, right? Where is everybody there, supporting each other? We're not hunting and gathering, that's a word, hunting and gathering.
It is now.
But, we're helping each other raise the children. We're helping teach. We're helping just cover down in these kind of like human pods again. Is that kind of what's going on?
Oh my goodness. I couldn't have said it better, because that is kind of the feel, everyone had to close, tighten their circles and, really rely on the people right in their community, as opposed to like, being connected in various other ways through work and through transport or whatever else we're doing. But yeah, I've honestly never felt closer or more valuable to my community than I do right now, because it's like the people I'm helping are the people I'm seeing every single day. And they just feel like an extension of my family. So
Wow.
I think this will kind of revolutionize the way that we do schooling too in the future, potentially, or it could for a lot of people who might have something like this and see the value of something like this. I mean, I feel my little one, he's close to me. I can check in. I can see what he's doing every single day. I'm really getting to know the intricacies and the day in and day out of my neighbors. And it feels awesome, Chase. So yeah, I think that's a really beautiful point, a beautiful gift that's coming out of this craziness.
I mean, and that's just it. I mean, that's what we have to look for, right? And it's the whole premise of my belief system, and the whole concept of Ever Forward is you have to be able to find the gift inside of the eye of the hurricane. You have to be able to, look for, make your own silver lining. And I've talked with quite a few moms, parents, people over the last several months that have had to pivot in ways that I have not, that honestly I can't even imagine. And so I give you all incredible props, like all the credit in the world, to like be a spouse, to be an individual, to have fun, to run your business, but then to take care of kids on top of that. That's amazing. What are your time blocking productivity hacks? We got to know something that's working for you.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm juggling a lot, but I'm just really, okay. Like you said, time blocking. So in the morning when I wake up, it is me and my Maverick. It is me and my Maverick until my husband wakes up. And so we have an hour where I'm completely mindful, completely present with him to do whatever he wants. I just kind of let him take the lead. And that feels really good as a mom, because then I can move into my work situation after he comes, after the teacher gets here. And then I have 6 hours solid of work time. And then when that's done, I go right back into family mode. Then I have a little time for myself at the end of the day. I also have a sauna downstairs that I sit in every day, have a little meditation minute, and just like give myself a little peace. And so my time blocking looks like, I have 6 hours of professional stuff. I have at least 2 hours with my little guy. I have at least a half an hour with just me. And then I have an hour at the end of the day with my husband or whatever group of friends we might want to bring into the situation that day. And of course I do some sort of exercise. So I have a way to make it work if I just kind of like have a plan and a structure and a flow to my day. So that's what we do around here.
Over the last several months and, over the last several years now, as a mom, as a spouse, as a business owner, how valuable would you say, how necessary has it been to honor your time in terms of like your personal time? I heard you talk about that a little bit. And I can speak volumes to that for me, but that's usually one of the first things that give, right? When life happens, when kids happen, when job gets crazy. Have you kind of sacrificed that here and there, or have you always kind of had this kind of sense of honor for it?
I think I sacrificed that for like the first 20, maybe 30 years of my life, right? I was that person who's like, oh, I don't need anything. Oh, I'm just here for you guys. I want you to be comfortable. And then when I had a baby, it was like, of course, they're going to be comfortable. And then there came a point in time I had to I was kicking and screaming, but I had to come to the realization that if I don't honor my own needs now, they're going to build, it's going to explode. It's going to create this much more dramatic situation and collateral damage than if I just little by little take time for myself every single day. Because a lot of women are kind of raised to believe that we're here to keep the peace and we're here to make everyone else happy. And I think what we need to realize is if our buckets is not full, we aren't happy and no one else is happy either. Because we're all we're all connected. We're all sharing energy every single day. And so what would happen is I'd exhaust myself. Then I'd find a way to be mad at my husband about it. And then that would create problems with us. And our little guy would feel that. And then, just this big thing. But yeah, now I'm just like, okay, every day, whether I want to or not, 15 minutes just for me, just to sit in my sauna. It's not negotiable now, but I wasn't always this wise. I had to learn it through a lot of really hard times. So
much
yeah,
wise,
anyone's having trouble doing it, just do it. Yeah.
It's something that made me laugh inside. My dad growing up, he would always say, whenever I could kind of tell maybe, I don't know, mom and dad, or it was not like they're in an argument, or I could just tell that my dad was putting his foot in his mouth, he would always follow up when it was just him and I and be like, Chase, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. All right.
And it's so true.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And women feel selfish for taking care of themselves, but they have to. We have to. I'm such a better, calmer, more peaceful and mindful mom when I'm actually just like taking care of myself too. And we want to raise our children to believe that that's okay and that that's actually essential for wellness too. And so if we can demonstrate and model that, hey, mama needs a minute, then that gives them permission to do the same, which is so necessary.
Well, come time when my wife and I have kids, maybe I'll take a page out of your book and you can really, I'm going to show you my calendar, but look, where do you make this happen? Because I'm already imagining where it's not going to happen. So
let me tell you one of my biggest secrets now. This is something my husband and I decided to do 2 years into Maverick's life. We do what's called a Sunday swap. So Saturday is family day. We just kind of go with the flow. But on Sunday morning, I get 3 hours of time with just Mav, and Chaz does whatever he wants. Usually involves golfing, watching a movie. Wow. And then at night, in the afternoon, I have my 3 hours and he has his solo time with Maverick. So, it's beautiful that solo time is just as rewarding for me as my off time, I find, because the dynamic shifts. I really highly encourage that you do that from the outset.
Okay, I heard that I can tell my wife every Sunday I get 6 hours of me time.
Golf, then time with the boys. Yeah, nope. 3 and 3. And you get a half an hour for the transition.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, commute time, that counts for sure. Autumn, please walk us through. It sounds like you've got a pretty good situation, a pretty good understanding of your definition of wellness and how you integrate that into your life and your family's life. Where did this come from? Where did this concept of, honoring your time and family and all these things, where did your wellness model kind of begin?
Yeah, it began because I was doing the opposite of all the things I'm doing now. When I was young, I was, I was a happy child, but once I hit high school, I started to have these crazy digestive issues. And in the small town in Montana where I was, they didn't have a lot of options for me. And so they said, take Gas X. And I was like, well, okay, that didn't really do much for me. And so I just kind of learned to manage it. And soon, now we know that the gut and the brain are linked, and my kind of digestive issues started to manifest in mental health issues, and I would pass out sometimes, and I had anxiety, and I had depression, and I had an eating disorder, and I was just kind of spiraling. And again, they took me to psychiatrists, and they put me on, antidepressant meds, and those just made me feel like a zombie. And I'm a very passionate, I have all the feelings, and I didn't anymore.
I can tell.
Yeah. I'm just like a raw nerve. I'm out there. But yeah, so the medications made me feel terrible. So I didn't want to use them. So instead of that, I just went to substances and, drank and smoked and whatever else. I actually got kicked out of my parents' house before I even graduated high school. And I deserved that. Wow. And I respect them for doing that and for following through with that. We are great friends today. And I know that I'm the person I am because they did that. But so I did that. I was still serious about my studies because I'm a lifelong learner. And it wasn't until, so I made it through school and moved to Los Angeles because I was a dancer and I was following my dreams. And then I met my husband. And when he moved in and he saw kind of the mess I was, even though I was doing all the things, he was like, wait a minute, you're a fitness trainer working for Tracy Anderson. You look pregnant after meals. Like, why is your stomach looking like that? Why are you like crumpling over into a pile at night? Why is your skin still kind of, breaking out when you are this fitness expert? And so we went to another doctor in Los Angeles, and basically we did our own research and we found the paleo diet. And after 30 days, my digestive stuff went away. And so it took a little bit longer. I became an FDN practitioner. I learned about kind of finding the root cause. And with time, I'm happier than I've ever been. That like calm and peaceful girl I remember when I was a really small girl, she came back. And so I became like kind of very, very passionate about helping people figure out how to not just be fit, but to also be well. And and I've just had to learn these practices because literally I had the worst habits. If you talk to anyone I went to school with when I was in high school or maybe even college, they would say, this girl had an organic food company. No, it can't be true. So literally from the ground up, one by one, I just like focus on one positive habit, maybe a month. I get that under my belt and then I move on. And I just think the key to my wellness has really been reestablishing that connection I have to my intuition and to my body. I think a lot of us this was definitely my story, are just like kind of disembodied in a way. We're so overstimulated and we're so inundated with these messages from culture and from our parents and from whatever else that we lose touch with our own inner guidance. And I think that is the way to perpetuate wellness. I've heard this beautiful quote that health is coming back to the self. And I think in my definition of wellness, that's essentially exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful story. A couple things in there. One stood out immediately was I kind of resonate with you. Like, you're not supposed to have these problems. You're the fitness guy or you're the health girl. Whether it's self, kind of manifested, whether that's what we're putting out there in the world. I mean, also in our cases, that's our profession, or at least it was, so we're not, quote, allowed to be out of shape. We're not, quote, allowed to have skin problems, digestive problems. What would you say to somebody, because there are a lot of people in my audience who are health and wellness and fitness professionals. And no doubt, I'm sure you're showing up to a class and maybe you don't think that you look your best. You're not feeling your best, or maybe someone has made a comment like that. Like, how did you kind of work through that identity shift? Because we're not supposed to have these problems, right?
Oh my goodness. It was so horrible for me. I remember like my skin being so bad and being around some of those beautiful people in the world and just like wanting to crumple over in a pile. And so what happened, I think what I needed to do first was just find like physiological stability. And so I was on this like roller coaster up and down. And when you're fighting that battle all day long, I don't know if it's possible. I certainly couldn't have done it. So I had to do that first. And then once I was there, just starting to realize like, I'm just a human being, right? We're all just human beings. And like, actually the shape of our body is one of the least interesting things about us. And so just remembering every single day that, yeah, we're pushing towards wellness. That's why I like to shift my focus away from the fitness aspect and the shape of your body. We're going to weigh ourselves every day and we're going to worry endlessly about the way we look, into rather like, how do I feel? How are my energy levels? How's my mood? Can I contribute to my community? And it was when I really started to put my value over here instead of in my physical appearance, I was able to give myself permission to just be the human being who's on the journey, just like everybody else. But it wasn't always an easy transition. I don't want to make it sound like it was. But over time, I've done a lot of work with like a really awesome life coach and just really, really being devoted and remembering, yeah, we're all here just doing the best that we can. And nobody has to be anything. And often we teach the things that we need to learn ourselves. And there's something really beautiful about that. So I think as a fitness professional, I just had to shift the focus more to wellness than to fitness and just give myself a little bit of grace. Beautifully said. And it really reminded me of kind of my journey as well. Hell, I guess about 8-9 years ago, 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago, when I, quote, found fitness, right? Fitness is always the gateway drug to everything we're talking about now, because we're seeking change. And so we initially, 99% of the time, people go to, I need to change how I look. And then you work on that, you get results, you change something in how you look, and that changes how you feel. And that kind of is like, it goes from an external to an internal snowball effect, I think, relatively quickly for most people of, wow, if I can change how I look, I can change how I feel. Like, what else do I feel? What other emotions, how other ways can I improve how I am feeling and showing up in the world? And therefore it makes me, it's just a slippery slope into wellness, which is exactly what happened to me. I guess I need to be a bodybuilder. I guess I need to be a power lifter. I guess I need to be all of these things or train in these certain ways in order to, be fit. And then nothing ever really fully 100% stuck. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I was appreciative of it. My body, my mindset changed a lot, but nothing ever fully clicked for me until I began to look more inward and change much of that, or put myself on a path to as much as possible. So I feel you, girl, on that one. That was like insane. Absolutely. I love that. Lots of people are like, what do you go from being a fitness trainer and then you're going to sell beef sticks? They're like, that doesn't even make sense. But I'm like, no, but there's just like, there's so much more. There's so much more.
It's all there.
Yeah.
So, definitely one, it's okay to not have to latch on and be this identity of something, of someone else that honestly doesn't exist. Someone just made it up. You get 100% permission to be you and to be on the journey. We are human beings. Like you said, we're not human ours. We're not set. human R'ers, we're being. And so, every day. Clearly I didn't go to school for English, but that's okay.
School, I didn't either. We'll make it
another
work.
thing you said in there, I think is so crucial. And most people struggle with this, and that's the intuition part. And that's the really checking in with my body of how do I feel, like mentally, emotionally, but then also physiologically, the whole gut brain connection. I mean, intuition is more than just a sixth sense kind of thing. The gut and the brain are connected via the vagus nerve. And I actually learned a fun fact not that long ago that in utero, the initial block of cells, the tissue that eventually splits off to become the gut and the brain is the same. So the gut lining, the gut and the brain, it literally comes from the same origin. So there's something there. Walk us through, please. Like, how do we pay more attention to our bodies? How do we increase our biofeedback? How do we recognize intuition and then like act accordingly?
Yeah, I love that question because that's like been my, whole journey. So what I had to start doing, because I was so out of touch with the way I felt, was just like starting with like body, kind of like just lying down and just like noticing, going from body part to body part. Like, how are my feet? Are they tense? Are they relaxed? Like, do I feel any sort of sensation? And then I would just kind of move, like do just like a body scan check-in, right? And so I think with time, You said what?
I've been to this yoga class. Yeah.
Yes. Well, yes, I was also a yoga teacher. So that was a huge part of it too. So my practice of yoga, I got trained to be a yoga teacher. I taught for a while, actually in West Hollywood, where you are now. So
okay, cool.
If you guys are feeling disembodied, yoga is like a fast track, right? But if you're like, I just, you can also do the body scan. You can also start doing like meditation, right? So everyone is like very, very intimidated by it. But I was that person with this like monkey mind, like I could not sit still. I still work on sitting still, but just like sitting down and just being quiet and being present is the fastest way, I think, to ever access your intuition. And it won't come right away. I have to do some visualizations too. Right now, one of my visualizations that I do is, and I've had this working with a life coach. She just has me sit down and like you picture yourself in your highest form, like the Autumn or the Chase that you would always want to be, that you are underneath everything else. What does she look like? What is she doing? What is she experiencing? How is she feeling? And then you ask to be connected to that higher self. And then like I always envision like starting at the base, like in my belly, and then just like climbing. And so like that's just a way that I kind of connect to the person that I want to be, the person that I know I am without all the conditioning and everything else. And the last way around food that I really like to build this intuition is when we sit down to eat. If we sit down in a stressed state, or we're watching TV, or we're talking to someone, or we're driving, God forbid. I mean, I used to do it too. We're actually shutting down our digestive capacity almost by 100%. And so sitting down, having a few deep breaths, and then not only that, but afterwards asking like, how did that bite feel? What was the sensation like? What was the flavor like? What is the smell like? It's just essentially practicing mindfulness, being in the moment and not worrying about the future or worrying about the past. All of that, just like mindfulness, will bring you right into your body. But we need to start being connected to our body's feedback, because I think a lot of times some of us have these ideas of what we should be doing, and then habits around those ideas, like coffee, like, I don't need a nap. I just need to like push my pedal. And then that just takes us further and further and further away from this intuition. So for me, it's so daily practices like that. Also giving up caffeine entirely, stimulants of all kinds.
I drink my coffee over here.
Hey, not everyone's as sensitive as I am. And I found like maybe 1 out of every 3 women I work with really benefits from it. Some of them don't, but I think women are even more sensitive to caffeine. And so that has allowed me, caffeine in forms of coffee and sodas and even tea for me, has allowed me to really be quiet and get in touch with my body's feedback, for sure.
I say the word caffeine and my wife gets stimulated out of her mind. She's so sensitive. She just loves coffee and she's like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I had this crazy story that as a fitness trainer, I was just drinking green tea. I would come home every night, and just crumple over into a pile and be like, I don't know what's wrong, but it's something. And like my husband and I had just gotten married and I thought I was depressed. And one of my trainer friends just challenged me. She's like, I'm going to do a month without caffeine. Let's just try it. I did it. And my mood stabilized. No
Wow.
more crying spells at night. It seemed like I was just pushing beyond my body's capabilities. And I just crashed and burned. So
Makes sense. It makes sense.
yeah.
Of course, I like to be a little, we're in the health and wellness business. We're always looking for things that we like, things that we love, but if it can be good for us, why not? Right. So the coffee I drink, it's infused with collagen, MCT, L-theanine. L-theanine for me over the years has been I've never really been super, super sensitive to caffeine, not to get too off topic, but L-theanine coupled with caffeine for anybody who has caffeine sensitivity issues has been amazing. Not only for just like the longevity of it, but no crash, no jitters. And it's just also incredible focus. It's just like this magic little, coupling device. It's like what caffeine has been looking for his whole life. This magic receptor site, and just L-theanine and caffeine together, just a match made in heaven. It's incredible.
That is so true. I remember hearing that from Ben Greenfield. And if there is a time when I have to do the caffeine thing, I'm definitely taking an L-theanine. I have like little L-theanine gummies. And it is the focus, but the calm focus. So it's a weird, you're like energized, but calm somehow and focus. It's beautiful.
Which blows my mind. It's like, how can I be stimulated, but not like out of my mind? How can I be stimulated yet focused? How can I be, it's a weird dynamic for sure.
It definitely is. But it's cool.
That's why so many people my wife included, turn to matcha. It's a naturally occurring L-theanine, a lot of other great things in there as well. In your journey of biofeedback, paying attention to your body and all these things, is that what kind of then eventually led you to, all right, I need to find things that are going to help support my wellness journey, and I'm not finding what I'm looking for, therefore I'm going to create it, which I just feel is every entrepreneur's journey. I'm looking for something, it doesn't exist, so I'm going to make it. So where did Paleovalley come from? Paleovalley come from?
Okay, awesome. And first things I wanted to mention too, like these are things, the tools, the meditation, all the body scan were stuff I did later, but I did do a lot of HRV testing, and I did work with HeartMath too. For anyone who's like, not going to meditate. I wore the
Whoop device here for HRV. I have a friend who's a HeartMath coach, instructor. I don't know the exact term, but that stuff's been incredible. HRV for me for almost the past year now has been an incredible asset to my daily wellness.
Oh my gosh, right? Because it gives you an inside look at like, okay, not only how am I feeling subjectively, but also what is happening? What are my levels of inflammation like? So HRV, that was invaluable to me. So Paleovalley just basically came out of when I started to reestablish this kind of connection to my intuition and the way that my body was feeling, and realized I had a choice in the matter. I didn't even realize that for so long. I realized I went on tour not long afterwards. I went on a world tour with one of my fitness training clients, and I couldn't find the tools. Like I was feeling so empowered and so good. And then all of a sudden we were in 2 countries in one day, and we didn't have my beef sticks. And so my health kind of deteriorated. And I just had to I ate a lot of apples that I could find in the lobbies and a lot of like pistachios. But basically the pace coupled with the inconsistency of the tools led me, when I came back to the United States, to say, okay, I got to create the options for the people who are like me and who have woken up and know what they need to do to feel their best, but they just didn't have them. And so our beef sticks was the flagship product, and I knew I wanted to do that. There's a lot of really interesting research around actually red meat for people with mental health issues, depression and anxiety. It has some sort of a protective effect. And I was always someone who was, didn't really want to eat meat. And so I wanted to come up with a really delicious way. And most of beef sticks on the market, they have something called encapsulated citric acid, which is made from GMOs and then coated in hydrogenated oil. And when I learned that, because I was eating the grass-fed beef sticks, but it was still giving me that feedback from my body, like digestive stuff, I just didn't feel good. So I found out how they're made, and we just did it better. And that's exactly our product line has evolved from there. Like I'm here being super nerdy or, empowered, whatever, with my HRV testing. And I figure out what kinds of things I can add to my diet and my daily life that actually make a marked difference. And then we make products out of that. And these products are for me, they're for my family, they're for my 5-year-old boy, they're for everyone I love in my community, and just for the world at large, so that they can also feel empowered around them. So we went beef sticks. We've got a lot of other products. We can talk about them if you want, but essentially it was just me tinkering and figuring out, but I'm a mom. I want to do things. I don't want to cook all day. Yeah. How do we make this realistic in the modern life? So that was it.
I mean, that's really, that's amazing, by the way. I mean, most people stop there, and it's wow, I can't find this. I guess it doesn't exist, or I'll just have to settle for what is out there. So I'm very appreciative of people like yourself who take it the next step and then create these incredible products that I'm never here in my little home studio. I'm never with, beyond arm's reach of. They're just so damn good. Seriously, I can't keep them in house long enough, and also my dog takes them. So, and but I do want to play devil's advocate a little bit here, which I think anybody, whether you're a consumer or creator, we all want to make the best product, right? Well, I can't find what I'm looking for. So I'm going to like create it. Or I found something that is pretty good, but it has too much of this, not enough of that. Why is this like better? You were talking about a few ingredients that, it's encapsulated in, and some things that we definitely don't want, but what really makes Paleo Valley so much different?
Oh, it's because we care about it. It's like not only the way that we feel when we eat our products, but also like the way it's impacting the environment. And so our beef sticks are no weird, freaky ingredients. Of course, if you look at a beef stick and you'll see sugar and you'll see MSG and sometimes even gluten, because gluten makes you want to eat more, and food manufacturers know this. And so like as a manufacturing company, we decided we were always going to prioritize health over profit, no matter what. Like no matter, how big the company got or whatever, these are the foods that are feeding our family. And so that always just had to be the through line. And so of course, encapsulated citric acid, I just thought, I remember a time when we were like, well, this is the industry standard and we could probably make more money if we went this way. And as a company, we got together and I was like, I don't feel good in my belly if I am putting food out there for anyone. And I know that it could be potentially damaging. So encapsulated citric acid, no MSG, nothing weird, just organic spices, and 100% regenerative. I mean, there is no label for that, but 100% grass-fed and grass-finished beef that is also regenerating the earth. A lot of people don't yet understand, but we have a lot of incredible potential to actually reverse climate change with the food choices that we're making on a daily basis. So regenerative agriculture is kind of that new solution that we are just discovering. And so because we care only, also about high quality ingredients, but also the environment, that is our second criteria when we're making our products. So it's basically like just trying to be as conscientious as we possibly can about all of the different ways that our products impacts people and the planet.
That's awesome. Thank you. As a consumer, I love that. That's incredible. Yeah.
I forgot one of the most important things. Like instead of using encapsulated citric acid, which is the industry standard, we ferment them. And so they have probiotics in them too, because our ancestors were fermenting foods. Does not make any sort of sense, like financially, for us to do this, because it takes 4 times longer to make one of our beef sticks than it does other beef sticks. But again, because that is our through line. We are committed to the cause. We are doing it that way anyway. And so they're actually like a gut friendly. And I even hear people who try our beef sticks and they're a little moist. They have a snap. They're not like jerky. And people just say, if even people who have digestive issues, like with red meat, typically, they do really well with ours. And I think that's why.
Incredible. Incredible. And I'll kind of walk through a few of the other favorites that I have been using for months now. Especially the last several months, we all probably could benefit from a little bit more focus on our immune system. And so besides gut health, which is great, coming from fermented foods and prebiotics, probiotics, that's going to be a great asset. But actually getting more specific with things like your apple cider vinegar complex and your vitamin C complex, your immune C complex. Can you walk us through the benefits of those a little bit?
Totally. I'll start with apple cider vinegar. I think I just literally, before we got on this call, was reading, I think Rob Wolf posted that there was like this 3 times increased risk of dying for this particular population of people who got COVID if they had metabolic syndrome. So metabolic syndrome, just increased levels of, like non-optimal cholesterol levels, central adiposity. We have high levels of blood sugar. It's what a lot of Americans are suffering from. I think it's like 1 out of 3 of us. But our apple cider vinegar complex, for people who are looking like, okay, I want to improve my blood sugar regulation, I don't want a complete overhaul in my diet, apple cider vinegar is one of those awesome tools you can have in your toolkit. They've actually done studies where they take people eat bread for a meal and then they pair it with, you're going to have a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar before or you're not. And then they watch the blood sugar levels. The blood sugar levels with a simple addition of apple cider vinegar are far more moderate, which is a good thing. We don't want our blood sugar levels going up and down.
Right.
There's also research to suggest just taking a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and you can eat up to 200 to 300 calories fewer every single day, because it has this really powerful impact on satiety and cravings. They've seen weight loss because they believe it interferes with the digestive enzymes that would break down starch in foods. Wow. So essentially, you're not absorbing as much. So people are losing weight. People are having their cravings disappear. Their blood sugar is more stable. And also there's digestive benefits. So a lot of people have like these lingering digestive issues, bloating, whatever. When apple cider vinegar comes in, it actually helps our stomach acid to be more acidic, which is really good. A lot of us, as we age, as we're stressed, our levels of hydrochloric acid in our stomach, they are on the decline.
That pH becomes out of whack. Absolutely. We need a highly acidic environment in our stomach and digestive tract. Absolutely.
Exactly, because it triggers the rest of the stuff going on in the rest of our digestive tract. So apple cider vinegar is a really nice natural way to kind of bring that in. So I was telling everyone, oh, apple cider vinegar, we got to be doing it. And then a dentist friend reached out to me and said, Autumn, you can't have people drinking it all the time because it can be hard on the enamel. She's like, I love you too much. Yeah. So I was like, and also like I created this Ignite tea when I realized me and my husband wanted to live a really long time because we loved each other and loved our lives so much. And so it had apple cider vinegar, turmeric, cinnamon, ginger, and lemon. And that was my Ignite tea. And people didn't want to mix it up every day. It became annoying because people have things they're doing other than that. And so we put them all in a capsule. I was like, I need my Ignite tea into a supplement that people can take every single day. And that's what we did. Uh-oh, here we go. This is my little one.
Surprise visitor.
Hey, sweetie. I'm actually doing... That's Maverick. Do you want to say hi?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Love you, bud.
We'll talk later. A dull moment when your entire life is at home, right?
I know, right? Sorry. And he usually has unlimited access to me if he needs me. So he's just like,
He just literally walked in to grace us with his presence and just did a quick lap and left.
I was like, see ya. Anyway, back to kindergarten. Oh my gosh, I love that guy. But yeah, our apple cider vinegar complex is like the craving fighting, digestive boosting, blood sugar stabilizing. And then of course, turmeric, like I said, not a million, but like hundreds of different benefits. Very well documented. Cinnamon is also.
Absolutely. Yeah. That turmeric's a whole other episode.
Oh, totally. And ginger. Mavi. Oh,
Round 2. Hey, buddy.
Buddy, you want to say hi? Can you?
I'm gonna go get a show. This is amazing.
So sorry. So sorry, James.
Not a problem.
Yeah. Anyway,
life
sorry
goes
about
on.
that.
It's okay. Yeah.
Mom life.
The apple cider vinegar complex is incredible. Like I said, I take it regularly, and I was unaware really to the extent of the blood sugar regulation that it can provide, which is also great news for me because I'm not diabetic or anything, but immediate family members of mine are. And that's always something that every year on my blood panel, what's my A1C, what's my fasting glucose, what's my, everything. So it's always top of mind for me. And, I need to know these things. Humans, we need to know these things. We can be doing all the things, right? Working out, eating the best diet, all these things. But look, genetics do play a solid part in glucose and cholesterol and predisposition to things, food sensitivities. So number one, do your homework, people. Get your blood panel done every year at least, and then choose wisely in your foods, and then supplementation. And then the immune C complex, the vitamin C. Why right now is vitamin C so important, and why is it so important in general? And walk us through this product, please.
This is my absolute favorite product because when I started taking a little bit more vitamin C than I was recommended, I noticed profound benefits. And it turns out the recommendations are really low, okay? And that their vitamin C has so many different benefits for not only our immune system, supports the immune system in 20 different ways, but our brain. There's research to show that people who take like 500 milligrams of vitamin C feel less anxious. There's research to show it can kind of temper cortisol release. So it can actually kind of help you wind down at night. I've heard heard people who take our complex at night just to help reduce stress levels.
Okay.
It helps fat burning. They did this really cool study where they took people who were a little bit deficient in vitamin C and people who were not, and gave them the vitamin C. The people who were deficient who had vitamin C, they actually burned fat more. And that's because it's really necessary for carnitine, which kind of gets in and helps your cell burn the fat. And then of course, collagen, right? So we have scurvy is what happens when we have way too little vitamin C. And that's just like our collagen, like breaking down and then hemorrhage. So we need vitamin C to produce collagen and to keep our skin and our joints and our bones and everything super, super healthy. And so the thing about vitamin C, most 90% of it on the market is made from genetically modified corn. Now, when I found that out, I realized, wow, I want to give my family a vitamin C that's from whole food, because there is some interesting research to show that, like in one particular study, they gave a whole food form of vitamin C, like Camo Camo juice, and they gave ascorbic acid, which
I
is
just
the
learned
kind
about Camo Camo, by the way. That's an amazing fruit. I had no idea. I was watching, quick tangent, the new Zac Efron show on Netflix, Down to Earth. He goes on world tour with this just like nature wellness guru, this like big jacked vegan guy who's here in Malibu, Darren, I forget his last name. Anyways, they were in, I think, Costa Rica and talking about Camo Camo. And now I've been researching it like crazy. I'm obsessed. I got to get me some Camo Camo.
Well, you got it, because it's in our Essential C complex. So Camo Camo, acerola cherry.
Awesome. All right, cool.
Yeah. Unripe acerola cherry. But yeah, so in these smokers, they just gave them Camo juice or just ascorbic acid, which is the isolated synthetic fraction of vitamin C that most people are taking today. And they were able to reduce inflammation and markers of oxidative stress only with the juice. But, you know, I do know there's benefits to ascorbic acid. I never, if it's like, I'm going to take ascorbic acid or no vitamin C, yeah, take ascorbic acid. But as you were attesting to, each of these fruits is amazing. So acerola cherry, Camo Camo, they have amazing, and amla berry, that's the other one. In Indian medicine or like Ayurvedic medicine, the amla berry is like the most renowned fruit there is. And it has so many profound benefits. So we put them all together.
Kappa? Did I just
What'd you say?
Vata, Pitta, Kappa. What are the three?
Yes. Yes.
That's go way back in my toolbox. Yeah.
I used to have an Ayurvedic counselor when I was in LA too. It's such an amazing old traditional form of medicine. And I think they were way ahead of us. And so my thinking is, why would we use one part of these amazing whole foods that could have all these other compounds too, when we could just do it in a whole food form? And that's what we did. We just took, like I said, almond berry, unripe acerola cherry, and Camo. And the cool thing about the acerola cherry is we got it when it's unripe. So that means it's like vitamin C content hasn't been degraded.
Maxed out. Yeah. And that's another thing I learned out from Down to Earth about the Camo Camo. Not only the coloration, like the darker the color, which, you know, most fruits and vegetables, it means it's more ripe, but also particularly the Camo Camo, it changed the flavor profile. So the darker it became, it lost its kind of sour, its bite. And the lighter the color, less ripe technically, it was way more sour, way more intense, but I think they said 3 times the vitamin C level. Was pretty impressive. Yeah.
Exactly. And when I give my little guy that our capsule, I open it up and I have to actually add a little monk fruit because it's bitter, it's unripe, and it's at that peak of its vitamin C content. And so I wanted to provide that product, A, so that people could avoid GMOs, but also because it's the most potent natural vitamin C on the market. It's like at 450 milligrams a serving. And we kind of chose that because our ancestors, there's research to suggest that maybe our paleo ancestors were having about 400 milligrams. And, you know, the 75 and 90 milligram recommendations, they're way too low. And our needs for vitamin C vary greatly. And so we wanted to give people not only a whole food option, but also a really potent whole food option. And so
I love it. Incredible. I have one more product I want to highlight that I love. I would love to get your intake on, and then we'll wrap up here. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and these products. And I'm really excited to see where the brand and the mission keeps going. The organ complex, that one was a new one for me. And my wife is Persian and they're Iranian. And so I've had whole food organ meat before, like I've eaten it. It's not my favorite. And so, but I've understood the benefits behind it. It's still kind of one of those new things I'm studying, and then, trying out on myself. But then once I saw it was in this form, I was very intrigued. So walk us through, what are the benefits of organ meats?
Oh man. So this origin story is simple because when I got pregnant, I realized, oh my man, my energy is tanking. And I wanted to I'm all about food as medicine. And I just don't think that we can replicate food and the benefits even in multivitamins. I think nature provided us with these foods that are really nutrient dense, like organ meats. They're actually the most nutrient dense foods in the world, gram for gram, highest natural source of vitamin B12 and vitamin A, and just the full range of B vitamins. And so I knew I had to get them in my diet. My husband would try and prepare them in a million ways, not tell me which meals maybe contained them. I could always tell. But when I could eat them, I felt amazing. Liver has this unidentified anti-fatigue factor. Athletes have been using it for centuries. I tell this to my brother, or decades probably, but he is a marathoner and he will drink a liver shake in the shower because it gives him so much energy, but he also knows he might need to vomit. And so, yes, my product was like, I can't stomach organs. My brother was like, I love these, but I don't want to have to drink it in the shower. And so we put them into capsules so that everyone could have all of these forgotten superfoods in a way that fit in with the palate of, Americans today. Because not a lot of us are going to eat organ meats. Because I haven't found a way to repair them that I like. And so we have heart and liver and kidney, all from grass-fed and grass-finished animals, of course, on these regenerative pastures, just in a capsule. You pop them in, and people write in all the time saying, my endurance, it's like next level. Even this 60-year-old man told me the other day, he's doing so many more push-ups and stories. Yeah. And he just said, I got my vigor back. And amazing. So that's for energy, because you're supplying your body with all of those nutrients that the modern diet unfortunately lacks in a lot of cases.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, just knowing physiology and digestion, I mean, it definitely, it houses in humans and all animals so much vitamins, minerals, nutrients, micronutrients, just everything. That's where everything goes to be processed and then distributed out to the proper areas of the body, whether it's another organ, whether it's, your bloodstream, whether that's your brain recovery, I mean, digestion, all these things. That's it. That's the whole source. That's incredible.
Yeah. There's also one other thing about energy I just wanted to add. Is please. That some really smart scientists back in the 1930s actually got a Nobel Peace Prize because liver was able to cure anemia. And at that time, they thought pernicious anemia was because something was interfering with the ability to make red blood cells. But it was actually, they now hypothesize, it was that your body was actually just missing something. So they started it in dogs, then gave it to humans and found that the vitamin A content and the copper content was actually able to let your body use iron and build the red blood cells in a way that even just iron supplementation on its own couldn't.
Incredible. I mean, given the right circumstances, the right food sources, the right mental health, emotional health, and then key supplementation, the body never ceases to amaze me, what it's capable of doing and overcoming and bouncing back from. Wow, that's amazing. Well, Autumn, thank you so much again for coming on here. Before we wrap up, before we get to the final question, where can everybody go to learn more about you, Paleo Valley? I mean, definitely paleovalley.com/everforward. That's going to be the plug for the show today. My audience has been loving the stuff so far. I've been loving it. Where can they go to learn more?
Yeah, paleovalley.com. If you want to reach out to me directly, autumn@paleovalley.com. Always welcome any and all feedback, criticism, comment, all the stuff. I just like to hear it all. Really, really open. We also have our sister company, Wild Pastures, and that's the meat. We do a meat delivery service in the Denver and Phoenix area. So yeah, either of those places, I'm at your service.
Amazing. Well, if you ever start venturing and mailing out to Southern California, sign me up. That sounds amazing. I would love to get on some of that. But the last question I ask everybody here on the show is, we were talking about in the beginning, it's developing your own kind of wellness model, biofeedback, community, self-love, self-care, fitness, nutrition, supplementation, all of these things that are a part of our practice and our journey to help us live a life ever forward. What does that mean to you? How do you live a life ever forward?
Oh, such a good question. Basically, I used to be someone who was trying to perfect and thinking I needed to be something that someone else wanted from me. And now what I realize is I just need to do what I need to do to be a little better than I was yesterday. And then rather than comparing myself to everyone else and everything else and where everyone else is, I just compare myself to what I was doing yesterday. Am I happier? Am I more peaceful? Am I doing work that feels fulfilling? Am I taking care of my body? Am I being present with my family? And so I think when you set up those markers, it's a lot easier to hit, and also just like keep yourself shielded from the distraction, right? Focus inward, and then that allows you to go out into the world and just to like actually be very valuable to other people.
Beautiful, beautiful. Like I always say, there's never a right or wrong answer to that question. I love hearing other people's perspective on it. Again, thank you so much for your time today and your story. Thank you to Paleo Valley for being an incredible partner here on the show and helping me and my family, my household, and my audience and friends and community add a little bit more health to their life, a little bit more vitality, and a product that they can trust. And so that's going to wrap up everything here, guys. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. And if you're interested in learning more about what Paleo Valley has to offer, you're definitely going to see me talk about it all the time on Instagram. But also you can head to paleovalley.com/everforward to learn more yourself and to even get 15% off your order. I highly recommend you start with these guys, these beef sticks, turkey sticks. You can't keep enough on hand. I promise you. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Autumn.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me be here. It's an honor.